All right, everyone, we are back, and today I am here with the one and only Joe Shirley.
No, that's probably not a good thing.
So, my man, how's it been?
It's good. Things are good. We're rocking and rolling. Thank goodness the students are back in. As you know, we have Lush Med Spa right down the street, and it gets a little slow during the summer. We don't necessarily just target directly to the students, but they're really nice for filling in the blanks. So we feel it when they're gone, and so the flip side of that, we're getting to feel the goodness now that they're back in town.
It's so funny living in a college town because I will get to where, and I guess everything is like good in small doses. You know, I'll get to where by the end of the year, I'm like, please just get out of town, just leave, so we can have the town back for a little bit. And then by the time summer's like starting to get, close to being over, for us, we don't work with a ton of students here, but I'm like, man, I kind of miss the town being a little bit more vibrant.
So alive,
it's alive. Things are happening. And then they come back and they're here for about 2 months, and I'm like, all right, it's time for vacation.
Especially where you're based. I mean, they're walking by the door all the time.
It's wild being downtown because there's so much foot traffic, and sometimes you don't realize it until it's gone.
Yeah.
But I know it's tough for businesses, for a college town. It's hard for any business anyways, but in a college town, it's particularly difficult. It has its own things. Every business that would normally thrive during holiday seasons, here
it's kind of slow because they're gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Every major event for the year, students are gone, and so it's got its positives, its negatives, but I think we all do pretty well here.
Yeah. The ones that get it right and fill in the blanks when they are gone.
You guys kill it over at Lush, and so for anybody that doesn't know, so you own Lush Med Spa. You guys also have Lush Wellness,
right? And we've got Thrive IV, which is a mobile IV hydration that we just started up. And probably the biggest thing that we've started, and I'm super happy the way it's going, is PRIMETIME Men's Clinic. So it's kind of cool. I used to be, and my backstory, I guess a serial entrepreneur is the best or worst way to explain it. I like to start things. I don't know if I like finishing them, but I used to go a little outside of my comfort zone. If I saw a good idea, I would just jump in it. But I'm trying now to stay at least in the same vertical, and it's kind of all healthcare based and aesthetics based, making yourself feel better, look better, that type of thing. And just felt like there was a little gap for men in this area. Other parts of the country, it's kind of been a thing for several years, but in Tuscaloosa. And even in Birmingham, there's only been just one or two that cater just to men.
We definitely need that. I mean, it's interesting. The longer, the older I get, the more health conscious I am, and the more I realize how necessary it is to take care of ourselves. And things within your body changes chemically. All the things. I mean, your body ages. And
for sure,
even for men, I mean, especially those of us that, spent years hard labor jobs, and that stuff takes a toll on you, all of this stuff. I love that, you guys have made that a focus with PRIMETIME for sure. But, it's like you said, you're kind of staying within that realm, which I love, because really and truthfully, you guys are it's just almost like vertical integration. You're just taking over this whole space.
Everything and digging a little deeper. And as we learn new things, we add those new, so it's not like we're just moving along and have a plan to add something. There'll be something new that comes out. Some of the podcasts that are out with like Joe Rogan and Gary Brecka, those guys that are working on being just a better human inside and out, health and well-being, gets me interested, gets our providers interested, our friends. When you and I are sitting around chatting, it just opens up the door to, I guess, broaden our scope just a little bit and add or take away some of the services based off sort of what's trending and what's working well.
Well, I think that was something else that Rachel and I had kind of talked about the other day. Was I love that y'all are constantly adding and staying with what's new, what's popular. Hey, this is this new technique. This is a new thing that's, working. It's really helping. It's doing great. People are wanting that, and you guys add that. I love that. I'm constantly saying, hey, we're doing this now. And you two, we laugh about it sometimes. I mean, because you travel all the time, but I mean, it seems like every other weekend y'all are headed somewhere to learn something new. You're going to this thing.
And sometimes I wonder if that's the best way to go. You know, are we spreading ourselves too thin, or is our menu too large? I mean, some people do. I'll use examples of, there's places that do IV hydration, and that's all they do. Or people that do facials, and that's all they do. And I'm like, that's a very, very small piece of my business. There's no way I could survive on just that. They've got to be doing something better than me. Like, I do IV hydration, but I couldn't pay the bills and employ the people on just doing IV hydration, but the guy around the corner does.
Right.
So I don't know. Sometimes I question, are we going too wide? But then I also want to be that one-stop shop for anybody that wants something. And I guess that's kind of the hard part, is getting the stranger to recognize that you can come to us and just get everything done. You don't have to have a different person for everything. And obviously, the more you bundle stuff together, usually the more money you can save, and you get to know the people and they get to know you. That's a bigger thing.
100%. And, you know, if you think about it, you live somewhere, you know, a really large city, right? Really dialing in and just doing nothing but just IV, right? That's great, because there's so many people. But in a smaller place like where we are, you know, what, 90,000, 100,000, 120, whatever it stays, you know, current, I think having a place where you really can get so many different things done. But like I said before, you're staying up on it. I mean, and you know, if you say, hey, like, this isn't a thing that people are needing, you're just like, cool, we'll just, you know.
We'll do it.
We'll
go learn about it, and we'll do it.
Yep.
That's kind of how PRIMETIME came about. You know, we were dabbling in almost everything that we do at PRIMETIME. Sometimes it feels like it's not anything new, because we've been doing the services, but it's just the environment and the approach is way different. You know, as much as I try to make it gender neutral, Lush is kind of frou-frou, and a lot of gold, and you know, pretty colors and neon lights and flowers and all that stuff. Well, you know, maybe a guy is not so comfortable. I sort of put myself in those shoes. Would I want to walk in there and talk about weight loss, or I'm losing my hair, or ED? Do I want to talk to this 32-year-old beautiful nurse or nurse practitioner or doctor about my ED problem? So I kind of opened it for a comfort level, really. You know, when you walk in our facility at PRIMETIME, it looks like that room you would want in your house for smoking a cigar, drinking a glass of bourbon. You know, it's got darker walls and wood, sort of like this table here. Just, you know, it's manly. I like to keep a good sampling of some good bourbon in there, and I don't know, it's just a little easier for a guy when they walk in. And whether it's a good thing or not, I like for the guys to talk to me first. Now, I'm not a provider. I'm quick to say that, not a doctor, not a nurse practitioner or anything, but I am an old guy that's been through a bunch of problems.
Right.
So I know all about them. And I got some real strong people behind me. So everybody usually meets with me first. We'll kind of get their layout and their background, and that way they don't have to tell that stranger or that other person what they got going on. I kind of break that ice for them.
I love that. And look, you know, for me personally, I would have 100% been appreciative of that. Yeah. You know, I know I've seen just a couple of the photos. I hadn't had a chance to come in and check it out yet in person, but I've seen the photos of the place, and I love the aesthetic.
Thank you.
I mean, it fits. You know, and it fits like what I would want to do to this studio, but it would have the opposite effect for my clients.
Right, oh yeah.
So
it'd run out the door.
It might be great for a couple of sessions. Maybe some of the men would want to shoot and do that,
yeah.
You know, but for, you know, just the look itself, I loved. I liked seeing how, when you guys were, you know, working on this from the beginning, I remember seeing some of the ideas and everything, and I thought you brought it together perfectly.
And it's kind of everything that we, you know, I'm stereotyping here, but it's kind of everything that we like, kind of a, you know, manly manage. There's racing stuff, there's bourbon, there's cigars, there's Harley Davidson, there's, I got a stuffed snake in there. It's just, I don't know, maybe I'm overdoing it, but I just feel like it's that comfort zone. And I haven't had a single guy walk in and go, damn, this place is cool.
Yeah.
So they've all, everybody's appreciated. And again, it's about that comfort level, because some of the stuff we talk about is pretty sensitive.
Yeah.
You know, you really don't want to tell your buddy, but like I said, especially a female, you don't want to tell her you're having
Right.
trouble, or you just want to be better. I don't know. I think it's a great environment for it. And I think Tuscaloosa needed it. Sorry about that.
Oh no, for 100%. Tuscaloosa has needed this for a long time, and that's something that, you know, people don't talk a lot about. And I think a lot of guys don't talk to their friends about it either. You know,
For
a lot of times it's just, hey, I'm not saying anything because I'm probably the only person that feels this way. I'm not probably the only person that's having, you know, this problem or that problem, whatever.
Yeah.
And so guys, typically, we don't do a whole lot of deep talk,
Yeah.
you know, about personal stuff. And so I think having a place like that, and I'm excited to see the growth of this, because I think it's gonna.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm barely doing any advertising now, and it's starting to pick up, and people are finding it on the internet. And I know how to search for stuff on the internet, and I know why we're popping up.
Right.
Because somebody's got something they want to discuss.
Right.
And what's really cool about it is I expected there to be a bunch of guys like me to come in, you know, early 50s, late 40s, early 50s to late 50s, that, you know, things just aren't quite as good as they used to be, working fine, but you want to be better. But man, I've had a huge patient population of guys from 28 years old up to 35, 36 that are needing help in one way or another. Maybe it's just a performance issue. Like my tagline, I guess we can say anything we want to on here, but my tagline is bigger, faster, stronger. So even if you're 27, 28 years old, and I know you're working your ass off every day because you're just now getting settled into your jobs, and you know, it'll wear you down, and you know, just you want to be better. Like
Right.
Nothing's going wrong. Everybody wants to be a porn star,
Right.
and I ain't saying we're making porn stars, but still,
but
I mean, you want your stuff to work fast. You want it to be bigger, and you want it to be stronger, and so we can do it for young guys too.
I love that. Rich and I've talked a lot about how it's interesting. Sex has this thing where sometimes, maybe even just in a town like this where it is smaller and people are a little bit more closed off to discussing stuff openly,
Yeah.
like how big of a deal that is, right? Like that is, especially in a relationship.
Yep.
And it's like your sex life really drives the rest of, you know, your relationship. I mean, that's it.
I don't think a marriage can survive without it. I don't know how
I
some
would
people
agree.
don't.
Yeah, 100% agree. That's something that we talk about with our clients all the time, especially with couple sessions and stuff. And it's like, look, this is going to help that. This is going to improve that, which overall improves everyone's happiness, right? I mean, we all need sex. When you're able to, you know, especially if you see this with people who are starting to struggle, who are having issues, whether that's ED or whether that's something else, you see that take a toll everywhere, because that's the one place where, you know, it's like, well, you used to have control over, and then that's no longer.
Well, and if you have one partner that's more active or more into it than the other, it tends to tear them apart. You know, you see 99% of the men or women that step outside of marriage and cheat on the other one, it's because their spouse is not there for them. And that doesn't always just mean sex in the bedroom. That just means affection.
Right.
I mean, you tapping your partner on the back or the butt when they walk by, just to let them know that you're there and you love them, and saying the things that you want. And I just think a lot of that does start in the bedroom, or at least the desire to be there.
Right.
Everything doesn't have to be all about, hey, let's get naked and just go jump in the bed, but it's having that desire drives how you drives how you look at your wife or you look at your husband. It drives what you want to do. You want to please them to make them want to reciprocate to you. It just changes your entire attitude. And then when you start to chase her again, when you start to pursue Rachel, she sees that in you and she feels that love that's coming from you. And a lot of the conversations that I have, we joke a lot, and on the surface we talk about it's about sex, and your wife's going to be jumping your bones if she's doing testosterone or replacement therapy, and you're going to be chasing her around the house. But the serious side of that, I think most divorces really start with you being separate from each other and not desiring and pursuing each other.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, truthfully, we hear this constantly of people who are the ones that are struggling. I mean, I can't tell you how often it is where I hear someone say, we have sex once a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? It's like you're kind of taken back by that. And, I've always kind of tried to recommend, it's like, okay, talk, because a lot of our clients want to talk to us about that. I mean, that's what, when they come here, that's sort of a chance for them just to speak openly, to, get some things off their chest. And sometimes they don't have anybody else that they trust. And it's like, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
And so you'll hear this, and then it's like, I always try to tell them, it's like, if, is there, is it something where you feel like there's a change, or it's not just an attraction thing,
Right.
it's maybe that's an age thing, maybe that's whatever. So we've always tried to push you guys to hey, come here, because you guys handle both ends of this, right?
Right.
You handle
Right.
females, male, and I love that, because again, it's like, I think sometimes it's both people are.
When you're both working toward the same goal, it's a whole
Yeah.
lot better for sure.
Yeah.
Even if it's just that one person that's trying to make it happen,
Right.
at least you got one person working. But when you're both working towards the same goal, it's awesome. And like your business, and I think most people might think, okay, photography and aesthetics have a little bit to do with each other. I mean, you want to look good when you have your pictures made, but also the people that come to see you are coming for a reason, and it's, I would say, and I'm out here on a limb, but it's typically one of three reasons. They're rewarding themselves, they're rewarding their partner, or they're trying to get their partner's attention.
Very true.
And we're in that same business.
Yeah. Well, I love all of what you do. I mean, like I said, I think it's great. We were talking a little bit about some of the services and stuff. So it's not just like the hormone, optimization,
Yep.
but you guys do like the peptide therapy stuff.
Yeah.
The NAD.
Yeah, so kind of the gamut of it. We start off with lab work, just like when you go to your regular physician. I've got 3 physicians and 4 nurse practitioners on staff. And again, I'm just kind of that buffer guy, information gatherer and easy person to talk to. But yeah, we do bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Now, we actually do that for men and for women. But speaking about PRIMETIME, we do that for men. And typically, guys, I used to like to say when you're approaching 40, your testosterone drops. But I've had some 25, 26-year-old guys that theirs are in the 200 and 300s. And
Wow.
kind of your normal range needs to be between 200 and about 850. But that's with like a synthetic supplement of testosterone. We use bioidentical hormones in a pellet that's kind of placed in your flank, and I like to say it's a kind of a Breca term, but it puts you at an ultimate level or optimum level. So we're able to get your testosterone levels up around 1,200, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,400, and then you're really feeling like you did when you were 25 years old or 18 years old. But the pellets are a lot safer for you, and there's tons of research behind it. So it allows us to get those up to what we call optimum level. Everybody likes to be normal.
Right.
But don't you want to be better than normal?
If I'm going to be normal, I might as well go ahead and let's go a little bit further.
So that's bioidentical hormones. The peptides are, they're just kind of like a turbocharger. They help with, we've got some that we buckle with testosterone. We've got some that are, that help different parts of your body. I just had shoulder surgery, and I used a peptide called BPC 157, put it sub-Q into my shoulder, and I don't know that whether my shoulder just wasn't as bad or what, but I was doing that every day, and my recovery was just ridiculously fast. I feel like it had a lot to do with that BPC 157. It's good for joint rehabilitation, kind of your thicker, your muscles, your joints, your tendons, your ligaments. There's a couple other peptides out there that are more for soft tissue damage, but we can kind of cater those. We follow a lot of the biohackers. We follow their protocols for the peptides, and whether everybody knows it or not, the whole weight loss drugs that are going on now, the GLP-1s and the GLP with multiple multipliers in there, those are really peptides. It's stuff that's in your body already. You just have a deficiency of it, or you need to be at an optimum level of it, like we talked about. So when I say peptides, a lot of people jump back because a lot of it's not FDA approved, but it's just because it hadn't been through trials yet. All of the your Ozempics and your Mounjaro and that kind of stuff, those are peptides too.
Well, FDA approval is such an interesting thing anyways, because I think there's like this crazy statistic of like 40 or more percent of all things that get FDA approved eventually lose their approval. Like, so it's like people that kind of lock into that. It's like, come on, I mean, we know what's good, we know what's bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and
you go across the pond, and there's things that have been available for 10 years that are helping people left and right, and it can't be used over here.
with crazy amounts of data.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it just stacks of, hey, this is amazing. But
now I will say, if we happen to get out there, and a lot of people love to hear us talk, some of the peptides you get off the internet might not be such a good idea. There's a lot of research-only stuff. A couple of companies out there, and I won't name any of them, but a couple of companies out there that you can buy peptides super cheap. You dilute them yourself, and you give yourself a shot. And first thing I'm going to ask you is, are you qualified enough to know what you need? And you would be amazed at how many people are buying that stuff, and it is stamped right on the bottle, research grade only.
wow.
So all our stuff is human use. So I feel like it's been a little more rigorously tested. But peptides are a pretty awesome thing. There's some crazy ones out there they'll help with your sex drive. They'll help with your tan. They help you lose weight. They help you grow hair. It's crazy.
That's interesting, man. Getting into this world, it kind of fascinates me because there's just so much. And of course, I'm like not the smartest, so I get overwhelmed with information, and I start looking at this stuff, and I just go down these rabbit holes, and I'm like, holy shit! I was like, I didn't know this, and you could do this, you take this, and it's just
So
it's
combinations
really cool.
of them are what's crazy. Like you don't. There's a PT 141 that is great for libido in men and women. It just kind of triggers that switch in your head that it says, okay, let's go.
Right.
But besides that, so we got the bioidentical hormones, which is typically testosterone, estrogen. We manage the estrogen in guys too to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have a fair amount in your body, so we monitor that with labs. Do the peptide therapies, and hair regrowth is my favorite thing that we do, really, because it's such a simple change for guys, and some guys are totally cool being bald. They look great. They look better than people with hair, but those guys that are in between are the ones that I think we need to jump on. I don't think there's a guy out there that's losing his hair that looks in the mirror and he's like, damn, I look good with my hair falling out.
Yeah.
It's a self-esteem killer, and
That one's tough.
Yeah, we got like you don't get to talk about that because you got the best hair.
No, it's look. I'm like 5'7" on a good day. Okay, there's nothing about me good other than the hair. It's all I got, man.
Well, hey,
so I'll take it.
You take what you got. Now, I hadn't found the one good thing about me yet, except for maybe my wife.
There you go.
And my friend Justin.
Hey, there we go.
But no, we've got a product. It's called Derive. It's medical grade stuff, but it's it's a plant-based exosome, and most people think, plant-based, that's probably not the way to go. But when you start looking at, and I don't want to get too far down a rabbit hole, when you start looking at human-based material that things are made out of, say it's a placental-based or umbilical cord or a human growth factor, human stuff or living tissue like that tends to die when you manipulate it, or when it sits on the shelf too long, or when it's mixed with other things. With a plant-based exosome, they're able to take the best part of the best plants, put it all together in a way that they don't degrade each other, and the shelf life is crazy good. It just continues to be there.
That's interesting.
So believe it or not, there's really more effective things out there that are plant-based, especially when it's topical, like hair growth. We got a serum. It's a 4-month program. You'll come in the office. You'll do a really strong treatment with us, and we'll use a little ultrasound machine, put in your scalp. No needles, anything like that. Just a warm sensation. Feels good. Massage that in the scalp, and then you'll take home a kind of a spray of the serum and use it twice a day. I've got it in right now, so it doesn't make your hair greasy or anything. It just makes it grow, and it's a 4-month program. You'll come into the office 4 times. You'll have 4 take home, and you will have hair. I promise you that. We're about to do a billboard that says "We grow hair,"
Right.
And we had a female client who was a power lifter, and she was starting to get some male pattern baldness. She was one of the first patients that we did it on, and her before and after, just after a month, is crazy. Like, she was almost in tears, like, thank you so much for making this happen. So it's pretty cool. I'm super excited about hair growth.
You know, that one's tough because it is an aesthetic thing, right? Like, that's most of these other things that you're going through, you know, that you guys service, it's all like an internal thing, or it's something that somebody doesn't just see. And so for a lot of men, you know, I learned this with like the facial hair, because for me, I've just been one of those lucky people that just can grow facial hair. But there's so many guys out there that just can't. There's, you know, issues. They lose the hair on their head. They're rocking the cul-de-sac look at 28.
Yeah.
You know, one of my good buddies that I used to work with at the police department, he had the best sense of humor in the world. He would just grow it out and let it, you know, just because he thought it was hilarious.
Comb it over everywhere.
Yeah, he just didn't care. But, you know, he's also got one of those perfect shaped heads, and so he just keeps it shaved, you know, and it fits. But I would see so many guys that, like, really, you know, especially when they get to that age or whatever, when they start to lose, and I hate it because, like, I can see where that just wrecks somebody's
Well, you know,
confidence.
they're trying to hang on.
Yep.
Because bald guys look good. Guys with a lot of hair look good. That in the middle doesn't. So they are not walking around like that because they think they look good. They just either haven't given up completely, or you know, they think there's hope. And, you know, I hate to say it, we are the hope, the great white hope.
I love it.
I did a commercial the other day, and there should not be a single guy in this city that can afford $1,000. Let's just call it $1,000. It depends on the route you want to go, but I can put hair back on your head. So for what you're wasting on going out to eat, or even fast food, or a few drinks at the bar, we can fix that hair thing, and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
To me, that'd be a game changer. Like, I can imagine how I would feel in that situation.
In that spot.
I would, take
I was getting there. I was starting to lose a little bit right in this area, and I started doing those treatments just to slow it down, and it's helping a bunch.
That's awesome.
It's cool.
You talked a little bit about the Thrive IV therapy stuff, or is it? So Thrive was its own thing, but you do the IV therapy, hydration stuff at the clinic
so
as
we
well.
offer it at both.
Because Thrive's mobile, right?
Thrive's mobile, and it's typically after hours, so 5 o'clock till 10 or 11 at night on Saturdays and Sundays. Love doing parties and that type of thing, sorority, fraternity parties, girls' weekends, bachelorettes parties, or just when we party too much, we typically, most of us have an IV in our arm. It's super great for recovery, and it's also really good for preparation. People that are running marathons or triathletes, or just, if you're a big CrossFit, that's probably more of our demographic now. If you're a big CrossFitter and you want to push extra hard, or you have been pushing extra hard and you need recovery, just pop that in there and you are good to go. And we do all the vitamins and minerals, and if you're sick, we'll do Toradol, Zofran. Again, it has to be the provider. We make sure that we're either doing a televisit or one of those providers come in and check you out before we just stick a needle in your arm.
That's awesome. It's another thing that's needed around here. I know there was a couple of weeks back, right before you guys had announced y'all were out of town, and we had gone out the night before, and it was the first time in like probably 4 years where I woke up and I was like, I need an IV. I need an IV. And I did not know that y'all had officially had set up, and then you announced it like the next day. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I could have used that.
I could have called.
I was like, I should have called, but you guys were, I don't remember where y'all were at the time, but
you got the inside track. You can call anyway.
I know, but I felt so bad that I was so incapable. I mean, I remember sitting here trying to eat like a muffin, and I'm like pinching off like little morsels, just trying to keep that down.
That's the cool thing about the mobile, and I have to pull back on the girls that are running that for me, because they want to do everything mobile. It's like when people are sick, they want a Decadron, they want a Rocephin, they want me to come check them out and do flu test and COVID test, and we are doing a little bit of that. So we're almost like a mobile concierge medicine, but we're mostly focusing on the IV hydration stuff.
I think it could all be huge. So NAD is just pretty much just like overall
it's like overall health, and I don't try to get too far into the science of it, but it helps with cellular regeneration. So anything that's going on in your body, your skin, your heart function, just your eyes, your brain, everything. NAD is almost like a cure-all.
Yeah.
And that is why it's so terribly expensive right now. I don't believe that the oral stuff works that great. I think IV infused is really good, or we also offer a subcutaneous twice-a-week shot. That's what I do. And you can just definitely feel it. But it's one of those things, you're not immediately going to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're getting a IV and you're dehydrated as hell, and you're going to know when you got up, or we give you something for a little energy, you're going to know that it hits you. The NAD is it's a long game.
It's like creatine. It needs to be in the system, saturate a little bit, and then it starts to
do its thing. But you're paying attention, and people ask me all the time, it sounds bad when I say this, but what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing different? And I don't look 25, I know that, but when you compare me to some of the people that I went to high school, you can tell there's something different going on. I'm not aging quite as fast as I did before. Skin's a little brighter, a little tighter. I used to, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but all these scars on my arms, every time I do something, and Lori makes fun of me all the time, I constantly get cut and I bleed, and I've just got scars all over my body. I'm not doing that as much now since I started taking NAD.
That's interesting.
I can butt my arm on something and all of a sudden I'm not bleeding again. So I know I'm getting a little more elasticity in my skin, and I know it's brighter, and my color's not as bad as it used to. So that can only be blamed on the NAD. That's the only thing that I'm really doing different.
We have a mutual friend. I was talking with them. They had the Aura Ring.
Yeah.
And they were saying, like, this is when I started that with you guys. And then you could see, I don't remember what the level was that they were showing me, but you could just see this chart where this little graph on there, and it went straight through the roof and just stayed there.
That's awesome.
And they were like, look, that for them, that's kind of why I brought that back up. I just remember them telling, like, hey, this really made a difference for me. Just overall, the way they felt, and those Oura rings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool data in those. I don't ever know, some of it, like how accurate, but I mean, I guess they're.
But
pretty
again,
good,
it's you are at least able to compare it to itself.
Exactly.
So just like in that scenario, I've been doing this for a month, and I can see when I started it because of my aura, and I can see where it is now. So even if it's not 100% accurate, it's good for trends for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was convinced. I was like, all right, I need to do that, and I need the ring too, because I need to track my shit. But I don't want to do that because then I'm obsessive, and I'm weird about wearing something.
They're a little thick too.
Yeah.
I think they'll continue to make them thinner, but all those sensors in there, they just kind of stick off your finger a long way. And
When they go the route of like the Kalo ring with the little rubber rings, like what I normally wear, which I've now lost my eighth
don't
one.
have mine on. I get some type of. Amy says I'm allergic to being married because it'll turn bright red, and I'll have to go without it for a week or so. So
Interesting.
unfortunately, ladies, I'm
Yeah.
still married.
It's like, don't worry. Yes, yeah, I'm still married. No, she's the best. Love her. I can't say enough about her either. That's the thing I've always loved since, we've known you guys, is she's always, like, Rachel has a question about something, it's cool because this group, all of you guys, are in this sort of industry, in this business. So it's nice being around because if I have a question about something, it's like immediately, and then it's like, cool.
Yeah, luckily we all have our talents and our gifts, I guess, and hers is, she is definitely very smart when it comes to medical things, and she just cares for people in a different way that I don't know that you or I are capable of. But again, everybody's got their strengths. We'll leave that to her, and all things cool are Justin and Rachel, and all this audio-visual stuff and sound and photos and just everything that you've done in the past. And then, again, everybody's kind of got their own thing. We got marketing people, advertising people, construction. It's cool.
It's interesting, too, because I think everybody that loves what they do, like you guys love what you do. I mean, this is what you talk about. This is the thing that you get excited about, I know there's other stuff. I know, like both of us, big car people, so I know that, like, love and passion for some of that other stuff. But the thing that you really enjoy, you're able to do on a really high level. And I think that's one of the things I love about, all the people that we kind of, stick around is you're seeing people do things on a high level, but it's not, hey, I'm doing this because I have to. It's not, I'm just working this job that I hate. It's like, no, I love advertising. I love marketing, or it's like, I love the med spa. I love the
and what it does for others.
Because I think everybody, again, it's like construction. Well, we're the best at this. We do this. And so it's just cool, man. I love that. And I think that it's really cool too. It's like, it's crucial to have people around you that also have like a high drive as well.
For sure.
You guys, every time I talk to you, you're like, yep, we're doing this, and I want to do this thing now. I want to get this. It's never just, hey, I'm happy. We're just going to we're just going to float along.
Tired of doing this.
Yeah. You guys make me work harder. Y'all need to chill. Y'all do
vice versa.
Y'all do too much shit. Cause I'm over here like, I got to do more. So,
I thought it'd be good for your people to kind of hear what we do there, because then again, back to the first thing that we talked about, it's about making you a better person inside and out. So, I mean, whether people are dealing with ED, hair loss, hormone imbalance it's such a big topic. We could talk about that all day long and might need to some other point, but it changes so many things. And we've got natural alternatives and alternatives that require medication, sort of like when you're losing weight. You can do it one way, or you can add medications and do it a different way. Same way with ED. We've got a ultrasound wave therapy that we can do on the male that it'll cure ED where you won't need medications. Just lots of cool stuff. So if you're having any problems, or if you just want to be better, that's us.
I love it. So where can people find you?
Oh yeah. The call to action.
Yeah.
I forgot.
We gotta have a location.
So the PrimetimeMensClinic.com. That's the number one. So you can kind of see everything about that. Otherwise, we're in Northport off of Highway 69. It's inside of, I like to say, discreetly located inside of Lush Wellness. I've got a side entrance for men. You go around to the right side and go in, and that's where our little setup is. Or you can call us. Numbers on the website, or use the website. We're on Facebook all the time, so that's the best way to get us.
Yeah, I love it, man. Look, I've got several friends that have done the pellets with you guys, and I've heard nothing but positive.
It's a huge game changer for sure. Whether you're just on the cusp of needing it or you're full on and you need it, and it's so good for women. I would almost say that the change in women's bigger than the change in men. And if we walk away from here today, if anybody's listening to us, know that women need testosterone and men need estrogen in their body. So it helps you fight off cancers. It makes you feel so much better. And it'll change your world for real.
I think it's interesting. It's, like I said before, it's so many people, men, women, it's like there's this change that happens where you just don't feel like yourself, right? And it's not always just like some uncurable thing, right? I mean, it's like you start to feel like something's off, probably is.
Yeah.
Come in, get your
You
blood
don't
work.
have to just deal with it.
Yep.
It's easy to fix.
Yeah, I think that's where I was going with it is, most all of this stuff is fixable now. And you guys have the perfect place where you can kind of do a little bit of everything to get people back where they need to be. And then, like you said before, hit that, real optimization and be able to take it a couple of steps up.
For sure. Thanks for us talking about it.
Yeah, brother.
Do it again and break down each subject, that kind of thing. But
yeah, I'll be excited to do this again for sure. And, we'll make it happen again. But I appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
All right, everyone. Hope everybody enjoys the episode. We'll do more of these, and we'll catch you again.